So today, we're going to tackle a really fascinating idea: how to get good with money before you even have an income. Now, I know that sounds like a total paradox, right? But trust me, it's one of the most powerful financial habits you can ever build.
I mean, think about it. How in the world do you manage money when your bank account is sitting at zero? It feels impossible. But here's the thing. Your financial life is already happening all around you, even if you aren't the one actually swiping the card. So let's start peeling back some of those layers.
Okay, think of this as our case file for today. First, we'll dig into that paradox at the heart of the whole mystery. Then, you're going to go on your first mission to track the money trail. After that, we'll uncover some of these invisible leaks, put our theories to the test out in the real world, and finally, we'll close the case by shifting your whole identity from just a spender to a real financial manager.
All right, let's start with a feeling I bet a lot of you know really well. That sense of having no money, but at the same time, life is, well, it's still happening. Your phone works, you had lunch, you're watching your favorite streaming shows. Things are getting paid for, just not by you. And that, right there, is the paradox we're talking about.
And there's actually a term for this: subsidized funds. This is all the money that's supporting your lifestyle, kind of running in the background. Think of it less like an allowance and more like the financial engine that's always on. Our first step is just to see it, to acknowledge that it's there.
Okay, time to put on your detective hat. Your very first mission, should you choose to accept it, is to conduct what we call an expense deep dive. We're going to follow the trail of these subsidized funds and find out exactly where they're leading.
This table right here, this is your detective's notebook. It looks simple, but oh man, is it powerful. You're going to track spending in a few categories, food, entertainment, digital stuff. But that last column, that's where the real clues are. Who paid? That's the question that starts to reveal the entire picture. And look, the process is super simple. Just look back at your week. Did you grab a coffee, go see a movie, download a new app? Just log it, jot down the cost, and then ask that key question: who paid for it? And remember, this is not about guilt. It's purely about awareness. It's just gathering the facts.
Now, this is where our investigation gets really interesting. We've tracked the obvious spending, right? Now it's time to find the money that's disappearing without even leaving a trace. These financial leaks that are happening right under your nose.
So that leads us to this question. What about the money you never even see? We're talking about those automatic recurring costs that you benefit from, but you never actually see a bill or have to approve the payment. For all intents and purposes, they're invisible.
And here it is, the official term for our culprit, the invisible leak. It's such a brilliant description, isn't it? It's a cost that quietly drains resources from the family budget, usually for your benefit, but it never, ever appears on your personal radar.
And here are some of the usual suspects. That streaming service you binge watch, the family gym membership, that gaming pass that unlocks all the cool new levels, or even those little in-app purchases that get charged to a parent's credit card. Each one might seem like a small leak, but believe me, when you put them all together, they can create a flood.
So once you've identified these leaks, you've got to face the ultimate question. If this subscription had to come out of your own future paycheck, would you actually keep it? All of a sudden, the idea of value starts to look a whole lot different, doesn't it?
Okay, so now that we're aware of all this invisible money, it's time to put that awareness to the test in the real world. We're going to call this next part the Spring Break Challenge, but honestly, you can do it anytime you're hanging out with friends.
So the challenge is simple, but it is so revealing. For 1 week, just make a little note every single time you feel that social nudge, that pressure to spend money just to be part of the group. It could be going out to eat, buying tickets, shopping. You don't have to judge it, just log it. Just notice it.
And this really lays out the two paths, right? On one side, you have the typical, often expensive ways we socialize. And on the other, you've got these fantastic alternatives that cost literally nothing. Look, this isn't about being cheap. It's about being creative and shifting the focus from spending money to actually spending quality time together.
So, after all this detective work, what does it all lead to? Well, it leads to a fundamental shift in your mindset. You're no longer just a passive person who has things spent on them. You're starting to think like a manager. You've solved the mystery of the invisible money.
And this question, this gets right to the heart of everything. If your income is $0, how are you currently funding your wants? Seriously, think about that for a second. When you want something beyond a basic need, where does that money come from? Is it gifts? An allowance? Do you just ask for it? Understanding that flow is the very first step to eventually controlling it yourself.
And here it is. This is the ultimate takeaway. This whole exercise proves that financial management isn't some skill you just learn once you get a high-paying job. No way. It's a mindset you start building right now by developing this simple habit of awareness. It's not about the amount. It's all about the knowledge of where it's going.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to take with you. Based on everything we just went over, what is one invisible leak in your own life that just became visible? Because just seeing it, just identifying it, that is the first and most important step you can take toward becoming the master of your own financial future.